Beneath the Depths, a diver's journey to the light of Islam. The water was silent, the kind of silence that numbs you. Deep, endless, suffocating silence that only the ocean can provide. Alex Monroe had spent the past 23 years descending into the deep blue abyss, finding treasure wrecks, forgotten bones of warships, and sunken cities of past civilizations. But nothing prepared him for what he found that one haunting evening in the Red Sea. The day had started like any other. The sun flared above the Egyptian coast, the sky clear, and the waters deceptively peaceful. Alex adjusted his oxygen tank and gave his signal to the crew on board. With practiced ease, he dove in. He was seeking an old wreck said to be a 15th century Ottoman ship, rumored to have sunk during a violent monsoon. But what he found changed the course of his soul. The descent. As he plunged into the depths, the coral reefs opened like underwater gardens, bursting with color and life. Schools of fish flickered past like silver arrows, and somewhere in the distance, a whale's mournful call echoed. Alex's heartbeat remained steady. He was used to this, the cold grip of water wrapping around him like a velvet glove. But then the sea changed. The current began pulling unnaturally to the left, something it never did in that area. His compass began spinning erratically. His light flickered. Then, from the corner of his eye, he saw it. A green shimmer, faint, like emerald light bleeding through the ocean itself. He turned and saw a ship. No, not a ship, an entire sanctuary buried beneath coral and time. The carvings on the wreck were foreign, not Ottoman. Arabic calligraphy twisted over the bow, strangely preserved. He swam closer, and then he heard it, the voice, not through his ears, but in his chest. A voice reciting words he couldn't understand. Soft, flowing, powerful. It didn't feel like sound. It felt like truth pouring into his veins. For the first time in his life, Alex panicked underwater. He rose rapidly, barely avoiding decompression sickness. Bursting onto the surface, gasping, his crewmates pulled him in. "Did you see it?" He whispered to no one in particular. "See what?" "The ship with the glowing light and the voice." They stared at him, confused. "There's nothing there, mate. The sonar shows no wreck." He said nothing, but something had happened down there, something not meant for the rest of them, something meant for him. The search for meaning. Over the following weeks, Alex couldn't sleep. He kept hearing the voice, calm, rhythmic, beautiful, whispering in his mind when everything else was still. The ocean he had once thought was a void now seemed to be pointing him towards something ancient and divine. He spent nights researching the carvings he had seen on the shipwreck. He found similar ones in Islamic architecture. And then he heard it again, on YouTube, a video titled Surah Ar-Rahman Recitation. It was the voice, not the same voice, but the same words, the same vibration that filled his chest underwater. Ar-Rahman, Alama al-Quran, Kalaka al-Insan. He didn't know what they meant, but he wept uncontrollably. The dive of destiny. Haunted and pulled by something he couldn't explain, Alex dove again into the Red Sea, this time alone. He took a small camera, a waterproof Qur'an translation he had bought the day before, and whispered before diving, "If there's a God, if you're real, show me again." He descended. Nothing at first, just water and reef. Then, there was again, the green glow. He swam toward it. This time, it wasn't a ship. It was a man, or a vision of one, draped in ancient clothes, holding something glowing in his hands, a book shimmering in golden letters. The man didn't speak, but Alex knew, without doubt, this was a messenger, a sign, a divine symbol beyond understanding. And then the voice returned, louder now, clear. "This is the book in which there is no doubt, a guidance for those who fear Allah." The vision faded. The water was dark again. Alex rose to the surface, not panicked this time. Changed. He whispered through his trembling lips, "God is real. Islam is real. I believe." The embrace of light. The next weeks were a blur. He went to Cairo, visited Al-Azhar University, spoke to imams, scholars, and eventually stood one evening in a small masjid as the sun set behind the minarets. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his messenger. Tears streamed down his cheeks. He wasn't just Alex Monroe anymore. He was Ali Munir, the one enlightened by light. Immense love and mystery. Islam didn't just change his name. It transformed his soul. He would wake before dawn, weep in sujud, whisper the name Ar-Rahman like it was air to his lungs. He left treasure diving, began ocean cleanup efforts, and spread the message of Islam to fellow divers and sailors across coasts. But one mystery remained. That vision beneath the sea. That ship no one else saw. The man. The light. He once asked a scholar, "Do you think Allah shows visions to people underwater?" The scholar smiled, quoting a verse. He merges the two seas, meeting together. Between them is a barrier, which they do not transgress. Quran 55:19-20. Alex smiled. He now understood. The barrier was never water. It was the veil between belief and disbelief. And when he dove deep enough, Allah parted the seas of his heart. The call to prayer echoed from the nearby masjid as Ali Munir sat alone on a cliff overlooking the Red Sea, the same waters that had once nearly swallowed him. But now, they whispered to him differently, not of emptiness, but of truth. His fingers brushed against the prayer beads in his hand as he whispered, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, La ilaha illa Allah. He had never felt such peace in his entire life. But peace wasn't the end. It was the beginning, the return to England. After embracing Islam in Cairo and spending months learning the Qur'an in Arabic, Ali decided to return to his homeland, the cold, coastal town of Whitby, England. The same people who once celebrated his underwater discoveries, his documentaries, and TED Talks now looked at him with puzzled eyes. "You've gone mad, haven't you?" his sister Hannah asked during dinner, glaring at the tasbih hanging from his pocket. "You found God in the sea? That's not science, Alex." He smiled gently. "It's not science. It's surrender. But you were always the logical one." "I still am," he said. "But Islam made me understand the purpose of everything I was searching for in the depths." She slammed her fork down. "I don't get it." "You don't have to," he said. "But one day, you might feel the pull too. The isolation." Ali's friends began fading. He was once the cool diver, the man on National Geographic, known for deep-sea mysteries and treasure finds. Now, he prayed 5 times a day, avoided alcohol, and spent his evenings reading Qur'an or watching lectures by Numan Ali Khan and Dr. Yasser Qadi. Loneliness crept in. Sometimes he would sit by the docks, staring at the moon reflected in the Black Sea, tears silently falling. He didn't miss his past life. He missed being understood. But he held on to Allah, and Allah responded. The dream. One night, Ali had a dream. He was underwater again. The green light returned. This time, the voice was louder, but not reciting. It was calling his name. Ya Ali, rise. He turned and saw the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in radiant light. The Prophet didn't speak, but pointed toward the surface. Ali rose, and when he broke the surface of the water, he saw masjids on every shore, people prostrating in every direction, the Quran glowing in the sky. He awoke in tears. That was the night he decided to act. The Ocean Dawah Project. Ali founded a charity, the Ocean Dawah Project. Its mission was simple, to clean the oceans, protect marine life, and spread the beauty of Islam to coastal and diving communities. "We are caretakers of the earth," he said during his first public speech at a university in London. The Quran says, "Indeed, we placed you as stewards upon the earth." Surah Al-Baqarah 2:30. Being Muslim isn't just prayer, it's responsibility. Videos of him diving with hijabi scientists, Muslim youth, and even converts like himself went viral. One clip, where he held a Quran underwater in a transparent case and whispered, "Even in the deepest part of the ocean, Allah's word shines brighter than any sunken treasure," gathered 4 million views. But then came the test. The hurricane dive. 2 years after his conversion, Ali was invited to document coral destruction near the coast of Madagascar. A sudden storm had struck the area. Many feared it would lead to a tsunami. The mission was risky, but Ali volunteered. while diving with a team, his line snapped, and he was pulled deep into an underwater cave system. Alone, disoriented, and low on oxygen, panic returned like it had that first time. He whispered, "Ya Allah, not here. Not yet." His vision began to blur. But then, he saw something again. The same shipwreck. The same green shimmer. This time, on the coral wall, etched by water or divine decree, were the words, "Fasbir inna wada Allahai hak." So be patient. Surely the promise of Allah is true. Surah Ar-Rum 30:60. With the last of his strength, he followed the shimmer, emerging on the other side of the reef, where the rescue team found him nearly unconscious. He survived. The media called it a miracle. He called it a reminder. The reunion. 2 months after the hurricane dive, his sister Hannah came to visit. She brought old photos of their childhood, their late parents, and whispered, "Do you still hear the voice?" Ollie nodded. She pulled out a small notebook. I started reading the Qur'an. He didn't say a word. He just cried. Weeks later, in the same masjid where he had taken a shaida, Hannah stood, eyes glistening, repeating the words, "Ashhadu alla ilaha illa Allah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah." He fell to his knees in gratitude. The siblings embraced. For the first time in years, he wasn't alone. The legacy. Years passed. Ali wrote a memoir, Saltwater Shaida, My Journey from the Sea to the Sirat, now translated into 7 languages. He traveled to over 40 countries, gave talks at Islamic universities, dived with Muslim convert from Brazil to Indonesia, and began a Quran reef planting project, planting artificial coral shaped in Arabic letters that spelled out La ilaha illa Allah. But for all his fame, one habit never changed. Every far, he would walk to the shore, face the horizon, and whisper, "Ya Allah, let me never forget that day in the ocean, when you found me, while I thought I was searching for you." Final dive. At the age of 59, Ali returned to the Red Sea one last time. A special documentary was being filmed about his life. He put on his gear, looked at the camera, and said, "I didn't find Islam in a book or a classroom. I found it in the silence of the ocean, where only Allah could hear my heart." He dove, not to find treasure, but to feel again the place where his soul had first awoken. The water was calm, the current was gentle, and deep in that holy silence, with the Quran whispering in his memory, Ali Munir, the ocean diver, turned deep and smiled, because he had already surfaced into the light. Because he had already surfaced into the light.